And finally, managing resources. In this, I want to mention three things: working with available gifts and abilities. There is a tendency for us sometimes to downplay the gifts and abilities God has given us. God has given us certain gifts and abilities. And we wish, oh man, I wish I had that other gift, and if I had that gift, I could have done that better. But we have what God gave us. And so what do we do in a church setting? We try to find people that have gifts that can supplement what we don't have. You can find out in the church setting, we can use different gifts from different people. You can find out what your church can be good at by the gifts you have. So in my church, the church that I attend in Maryland, one of the ministries that we have there is a disability ministry. It's a very robust ministry. We have almost like a parallel Sunday morning service where a lot of disabled people come. And because of that, from miles around, there are families that come on a Sunday morning because they can come and worship God knowing that their disabled relative is also able to participate in the worship. And that ministry was started in a church by a woman that had a disabled child. So it's not that every church does everything well. No church does everything well. But every church can do some things well. And what those some things are depends on the need of the community and the gifting that we have. We find a match and we make it work really well. We don't need to do stuff that we are not gifted for. And we will talk about that in the next couple of days. But if we focus on the things that we are gifted for, we can do a lot of things in our churches. Second is working with available finances. And this is always an issue, isn't it? Working with finances. The finances are never enough. My family is involved in a ministry called, we have a ministry called Life Challenge International, where we deal with drug and alcohol addiction. And we've done it for about 20 years. We have about 6 or 7 centers in India where between 20 to 40 men come and stay for a year. We teach them the Bible. They have decades of alcohol or drug abuse. They come, their lives are transformed, and they go away. We have ministry opportunities in Sri Lanka and Nepal and Burma and some countries in Africa, but there are no funds. So what do we tell God? We say, Lord, if you gave us the funds, we will expand. I mean, God doesn't expect us to expand without the funds. We will go as far as you want us to go, as far as you give us the funds. We will be honest with the funds that you've given us. We will be diligent with the funds that you've given us, but we can only work with whatever you've given us. And God does not expect any more than that. Then is working with available time. Working with available time. Making use of even the most mundane parts. Making use of the most mundane parts of the journey. When Jesus went from town to town, there was a lot of dead space between his ministry. But that was not really dead space because it was time that he spent with his disciples, and he was building them up for the work that had to be done. We don't need to try to feed people that are not hungry. Right? We need to either create a hunger and then feed them, or look for people that are hungry. If the harvest is plentiful and the laborers are few, if we don't see the need, it's because we are not looking in the right place. Because there is a need. And even Jesus said, if you go to a town and they don't welcome you, shake the dust of your feet. So we don't need to waste time on people that are not yet ready for the gospel, because there are plenty others ready for the gospel and we have only limited time. Part of our ministry is to search and find hungry people. Sam Shoemaker was a prolific preacher and I think an Episcopalian priest, and he was a founder of Alcoholics Anonymous. And I'm going to end with this poem that he wrote, I Stand at the Door. This is what he said, I stand by the door. I neither go too far in or stay too far out. The door is the most important door in the world. It is a door through which men walk when they find God. There is no use my going way inside and staying there when there are so many still outside, and they, as much as I, crave to know where the door is. And all they ever find is only the wall where the door ought to be. They creep along the wall like blind men, with outstretched groping hands, feeling for a door, knowing there must be a door, yet they never find it, so I stand by the door. The most tremendous thing in the world is for men to find that door, the door to God. And the most important thing for any man to do is to take hold of one of those blind, groping hands and put it on a latch, the latch that only clicks and opens to a man's own touch. Men die outside the door as starving beggars die on cold nights in cruel cities in the dead of winter, die for want of what is within their grasp. They live on the other side of it, live because they have not found it. Nothing else matters compared to helping them find it and open it and walk in and find Him, so I stand by the door. I admire the people who go way in, but I wish they would not forget how it was before they got in, for then they would be able to help the people who have not yet even found the door, or the people who want to run away again from God. You can go in too deeply and stay in too long and forget the people outside the door. As for me, I shall take my old accustomed place, near enough to God to hear Him and know He is there, but not so far from men as to not hear them and remember they are there too. Where? Outside the door. Thousands of them, millions of them, but more importantly for me, one of them, two of them, 10 of them, whose hands I am intended to put on the latch, so I shall stand by the door and wait for those who seek it.